Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to sift through sources, pull out the key insights, and get you up to speed fast. Today, we're diving into, well, a really extraordinary restoration project. It's a fantastic example of craftsmanship, but also some serious problem solving. Our main source is this video, originally titled Anamaso Shebi 4. It basically documents a master restorer just doing their thing. And the subject, okay, this is where it gets interesting. It's maybe one of the most surprising restorations you've ever heard about. We're talking about something pretty old, faced some really extreme conditions. The challenges were, let's just say, significant.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. So get this. The object is a 1920s marine toilet.
A toilet, yeah. Specifically for use on ships, boats, that kind of thing.
And back then, this was actually, top-tier equipment.
Yeah.
Made mostly out of brass.
Right. And what's fascinating here, I think, is what it tells us about materials versus environment. You have this robust brass, right? But the conditions on a sea vessel, you've got constant dampness, corrosive seawater for flushing, plus, well, the chemical side of human waste. It all just completely hammered this thing. The source mentions really severe corrosion. Apparently, the diaphragm inside was almost unrecognizable.
Yeah, face unrecognizable, I think was the term.
Yeah.
So even being mostly brass didn't say the initial state was pretty bad.
Horrifying is probably a good word.
And that state made just taking it apart incredibly difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
The corrosion was so bad, particularly in some spots, the source uses this great phrase, the road dam position, kind of hinting it was seized up like the statue.
Yeah, like frozen solid, contorted. And getting it unstuck wasn't easy. It wasn't just about brute force, though. It was patience. It took the restorer, a full 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
And they needed shipbuilding tools, apparently. Heavy-duty stuff. It really makes you think, what kind of dedication does it take to even start something like this when it looks that far gone?
Exactly. And if the outside was bad, the inside. Well, as they started to get it open, the pipes, just imagine, caked thick with years and years of grime, seawater deposits, waste.
Not a pleasant image, no.
Speaking of unpleasant, let's talk about that initial cleaning. The source describes physically cleaning the pipes as like a battle between humans and biochemical weapons.
Oh, yeah, that's vivid.
Apparently the smell and just the visual impact was overwhelming. Hitting the top of the skull was the phrase used. Sounds awful.
It sounds truly horrific. The source is clear. You needed a gas mask, like absolutely essential, or you'd probably pass out.
Right.
But here's the interesting bit, the paradox. Despite all that, the source also says watching this part was very de-stressing.
De-stressing, really?
Yeah. I think it speaks to that satisfaction you get from restoration,
Yeah.
Bringing order out of chaos, even if the chaos is, disgusting. That transformation's starting.
Huh. Okay. So after that initial assault,
It's called that, yeah.
the smaller parts went into an ultrasonic cleaner.
Yeah.
For about 4 hours, right, to deal with the rest.
Yep, and the bigger pieces. They got a longer treatment, a 24-hour soak in vinegar and salt.
A whole day.
Yeah.
Just trying to break down that surface grime and rust.
Exactly. A pretty standard but effective method for that kind of buildup.
And then, to speed up drying before the next stage, they used a heat gun. Just get everything properly dry.
Makes sense. You don't want moisture interfering with the next steps.
Right. Which brings us to restoring the metal itself. Sandblasting.
Crucial step. To get rid of any remaining rust, any stubborn bits the soaking didn't remove.
The source even mentions the specific abrasive black corundum, which sounds pretty serious.
It is. It's very hard, very effective for stripping surfaces clean. There was apparently some online chatter about whether it should be recycled, which is an interesting side note on workshop practices.
But after the sandblasting, that's when the real, fine work begins.
That's where the artistry comes in, yeah. The grinding and polishing. This is painstaking stuff. You see that craftsman spirit the source mentions? Every little curve, every edge needs careful attention to bring back that original shape and shine. Patience is key.
And there were a lot of parts. Even the small bits from the ultrasonic cleaner still needed sandblasting, grinding, polishing.
Individually, yeah.
The source said the sheer number of components was head-spinning.
I can imagine. Keeping track of everything, treating each piece is a huge undertaking.
Okay, now here's a really cool part, I think. They hit a snag with some damaged chrome plating.
Ah, yes, the chrome removal.
You can't just grind that off easily, can you? So they had to get clever with chemistry.
Right. So first attempt, they tried soaking the parts in sodium hydroxide for 24 hours.
Hoping it would just strip the chrome away.
Exactly, but it didn't work. It cleaned the surface grime, sure, but the chrome plating itself? Nope, still there.
Huh. So a dead end.
A learning moment, maybe. Sometimes the straightforward approach isn't the answer. You need to innovate.
So what did work?
This is where it gets neat. They used a technique called reverse chrome pleating.
Reverse plating.
Yeah. So normally in electroplating, the object you want to coat is the cathode, the negative electrode. Here, they flipped it. They put sodium hydroxide in water, making an electrolyte solution, and then made the chrome-plated brass parts the anode, the positive electrode.
Ah, so reversing the current flow.
Essentially reversing the electrochemical reaction. Instead of depositing metal, it strips it away. The source mentions seeing a green oxide forming.
And that green color meant?
That indicated the chromium metal was successfully being removed, turning into chromium ions in the solution. Pretty clever application of electrochemistry.
That is cool. It really shows how knowing some actual science can be super useful, like practically useful.
Absolutely. It's not just theoretical.
So after that worked, those parts then got the standard treatment again. Grinding, polishing.
Right back to the mechanical work. Grinding, polishing, and then a final protective alloy top coat to prevent future corrosion.
Okay, let's talk about the main body. The big brass toilet bowl itself.
The centerpiece.
Just had paint on it, right? So step one was paint removal. They use a chemical paint stripper.
And apparently it caused quite a violent chemical reaction.
Yeah, the source made it sound pretty dramatic. And then scraping off the peeling paint with a small knife. That sounds weirdly satisfying to watch.
I bet. But it wasn't just the stripper. They also used a torch and a grinder.
Oh, really going at it.
Yeah, making absolutely sure every last bit of that old paint was gone. No half measures.
And then, even after all that,
Yeah.
sandblasting again.
Yep. Another round of sandblasting for the bowl, just to remove any final traces of rust or paint the other methods missed, get it back to that pure original brass surface.
Okay, super thorough. Then a final wipe down with a cleaning agent spray.
Making it perfectly clean before the next steps.
Now the toilet flap, the part inside that seals the bowl, the original was shot.
Completely unusable, yeah. Beyond repair.
The restorer just made a new one.
Made a new one from scratch. Used an iron plate and a laser cutter.
Wow, okay, so vintage restoration meets modern fabrication tech.
Exactly. Then they had to deburr it, clean up the edges, and weld it into place on the main toilet body.
Using something called the 1,000 weld method.
Sounds like it implies making many, many small, precise welds rather than one big, continuous one, probably for better control and less distortion on the metal.
Makes sense. Then grinding those welds smooth, and finally a yellow top coat to match the brass look.
Right, to unify the color, make it look seamless.
Okay, metal parts mostly done. What about the wooden bits, the seat and the lid?
Those needed attention too, of course. Started with grinding and polishing the wood.
And filling any little dents or pits.
Yeah, using something described as sawdust glue, which is likely just what it sounds like, fine sawdust mixed with some kind of adhesive. A classic woodworker's trick to get a perfect color and texture match for filling imperfections.
Clever. And the final finish.
A walnut wood stain, which does two things, really.
Looks nice.
Definitely enhances the grain, gives it that rich walnut look, but it's also practical. The stain provides protection, it's insect-proof, and helps resist moisture and decay. Anti-corrosion for wood, essentially.
So aesthetics and preservation.
Yeah.
Smart.
Combining both is key in good restoration.
Okay, so all the individual pieces are now restored, gleaming, protected. Time for reassembly.
The final stage, putting it all back together, meticulously. Every screw, every gasket.
And to really show it off, the restorer built a custom display base for it too.
That nice touch elevates it from just a restored object to a piece being presented.
So after, what, a month of work?
About a month, yeah. Intense work.
The grand reveal. This 100-year-old marine toilet brought back from the brink. The before and after shots must be incredible.
They really are something. The source describes the transformation as turning it into a special work of art. That gleaming brass, it's quite striking.
It really does look amazing in the photos.
Yeah.
But does it work? That's the ultimate test, right?
The ultimate test. And yes, the source confirms.
Right.
Pressing the handle operates the flushing mechanism correctly.
Success?
Complete success. Functionally restored as well as aesthetically. And, thinking about the whole process, the failed chrome attempt, the different cleaning stages, it really is a masterclass in adapting and overcoming challenges. It's that deep expertise applied to something unexpected, leading to real ingenuity.
What an amazing journey. This deep dive really covered a lot of history, material science, chemistry, sheer grit and dedication.
It really did. It shows what's possible when someone is truly committed to salvaging something, no matter how far gone it seems.
Absolute great.
And if we step back, it's more than just fixing an old toilet. It connects us to past engineering, shows the brutal reality of decay, but also that deep satisfaction of resurrection, finding beauty and complexity in something, kind of mundane.
That's a great way to put it. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Next time you see some old, forgotten object rusting away somewhere, what hidden potential is locked inside? What work of art might be waiting under layers of grime, just needing some patience, some skill, maybe even a bit of reverse electroplating to come back to life?
Something to think about.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.